3,
2,
1.
engage.
When you want your leads and sales on autopilot and to accelerate your business, you come to the source. The Convert Source Podcast with Alex Kubasek. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex Kubasek with the Convert Source Podcast. We come at you every single week on Tuesdays, and we're going to drop it every week for you. Great brand new content. We're going to be helping you build out your digital strategy to help you attract, qualify, and convert your ideal leads and sales, but on autopilot. So essentially helping your business run with or without you. Which basically means that you'd be able to go on vacation, eat, sleep, drink, breathe, whatever else you want to do, and your business is still going to run and actually generate you great new customers, leads, and people who actually want to do business with you, and people that you want to do business with, which is something that we've completely lost these days. So many people are just so desperate to build their business that they will literally work with anybody to make that happen. So today we're going to be talking about something, of course, monumental. Every week we come at you with something monumental. You know, it's what we do. We like to make it so that everything is really big and really game-changing for your business. So this week we're going to be talking about building out and really developing and how to develop your content marketing strategy so that it actually attracts people into your business. Basically focusing on the entire premise this week of one problem, one solution. So just think of it this way. When you have a problem or whenever you have a question or just something that you want to know the answer to, where do you go? Well, you're either going to go to Google, you're going to go to a search engine, you're going to go somewhere to get your question answered, your query, in other words. So you're going to go to Google and you're going to type in how to bake brownies or how to bake healthy brownies. And of course, a slew of search results are going to come up. But we have to make sure that you come up first, or we have to make sure that the content that you're promoting or that you are trying to hook people with is written in such a nature, is answering in such a nature that it makes that you the solution to that one person's problem. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So really, over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about lead generation and different sources that you're going to be able to really basically attract and hook people into your business with to help make your leads and your sales generate on autopilot. But the thing is that in order to do that, we have to make sure that we fill up that engine with the right type of people. We fill them up with people that are going to be educated about our product and service, people that are going to want to understand more or learn more about our product and service. Basically, bringing in the ideal people that we want to do business with. Because the one thing that I say every single week is, wouldn't it be really nice if you could only do business with people that you'd like to hang out with, people that you'd like to shoot the shit with on a daily basis? Wouldn't it be really nice if your clients were actually your friends, instead of just considered nagging numbers on a spreadsheet, your balance sheet at the end of the quarter? Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do here. And that's exactly the engine that you have the ability to build out. So the way that we do this is, like I said, frame this entire conversation here. Whether you're driving to work, whether you're at work, whether you're looking for a little pick-me-up, whether you're looking for a little bit of inspiration or just an answer, think about this entire conversation as one problem, one solution. And essentially, we want you to be the one solution to that person's one problem. So how do we do that? Well, of course, last week we really focused on it. Of course, if you're listening to this kind of like out of chronological order, just go to the podcast where we're talking about how to build your ideal customer avatar, your ideal persona, really how to build that person that you want to kind of do business with, that makes it so that really those are the people that are filling up your business and making you happy, making you feel fulfilled, the people that you love to hang out with every single day. So do me a favor, go and if you haven't already, listen to that podcast right before you listen to this one. If you already have, congratulations, snaps for you. And in this case, we want to make sure that we are writing content that answers those specific people's problems, questions, queries, the things that they want to know. Okay, so whatever your business is, whatever your solution is, I want you to think about the end thing that your product or service does. The thing that makes the person feel like, okay, my problem is solved. I don't have any more questions. My problem is solved. I've got my answer. So don't think about what your product or service is. Think about what your product or service does. The end result for your end consumer, the person who actually consumes your product or service, what does it do for them? What question does it answer? What problem does it solve? Okay, if you've got that in your mind, now what I want us to start doing is let's work backwards. We need to think about the customer journey in the way that our ideal prospect is getting there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards and we're going to build the content backwards, because that way we're making sure that we are building a ladder of basically continuous acquisition. And in other words, basically making it so that people are following along the whole time in order to get to your answer. People are understanding, okay, this builds on this builds on this. I'm at this end answer with this person because I followed steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So in this case, now what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, what is something that we can splinter out of there? What is a way that people would ask those questions? And really, what are those questions? So the best way to do that is to say, okay, with your expertise and your many years of service and building out your product and all of these things, when you're at a cocktail party, or you're at a holiday party, or you're at a get together or gathering, and somebody asks you what you do, or within your day to day business, and no, this is not an elevator pitch. In your day to day business, in your many years of expertise and experience, what are the top 5? What are the top 10 most annoying questions to you because somebody asks them all the time? Okay, so if you have to pause this right now, go ahead, pause this. What are the most common, maybe annoying to you, but what are the most common questions? And the only reason why they might be annoying to you is because people ask you them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And the reason why they do that is because those are the things, and believe it or not, that is where your content strategy journey begins. So do me a favor, pause this, write those down, whether it's 5, 10, give yourself really think for a second. Okay. I want you to make sure that you're thinking, whether, here's the one that everybody asks the most whenever they start engaging with me. And then here's all the way down to the one that I usually get, pretty often. It's not the number one thing, but try to make out 10. Try to put together 10 of those questions that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're asking me this again. I'm so sick of answering this question. So pause this, write those down. Okay, if you've got those 5, 10, whatever they are, okay, so think of that number one, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to go over the number one thing, and then you're going to apply this strategy to each of them. And there's a reason why we're doing multiples, why we're doing so many. So for that number one nagging, annoying question, I want you to say out loud, obviously, if you're in a public place, maybe say it to yourself or write it down, but I want you to say clearly in one sentence what the answer is to that common, annoying, pain in the ass question that you get all the time. What is that one sentence answer? And if you're gonna, if we were sitting across from one another and you would say back to me, well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, do yourself a favor. Now you're trying to make excuses for your customer. You're giving them objections. So do yourself a favor, in one sentence, simply say what the answer to that most common question is. Now that you have that, what we're going to do is we're going to build on that. Because here's the thing. When you go to Google and you have a question, the last thing you want to do is read this really long blog post or watch this really long video that basically takes 10 minutes to answer a question that would have taken a paragraph. Typically, the best blog posts are 300 to 500 words. The reason being is because it gets to the point quicker. Now, of course, no one thing, No one answer in terms of an actual answer to a question, in terms of how we present it to our customer, is going to be simply one sentence. It can be, but we do need to dive into a little bit of detail to educate them as to the why of the answer that you're giving them. So, of course, I say to you, tell me that exact answer to my question or to the most common question in one sentence. Literally 5 to 7 words. What is that answer? And then what we're going to do is we're just going to elaborate a little bit, up to 300 to 500 words. And what you're going to do is you're going to show a couple of things here. A, you're going to answer their question very quickly. So basically, the beginning of that blog post, if you were reading it right now, it would be kind of a sentence that calls out that one thing that everybody asks you all the time. And then you would simply give a soft introduction, and then you're going to give them the answer and then the elaboration to that answer and basically the why around it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to call it out, that one thing, which makes it so that means, okay, they're listening to me. This is definitely going to answer my question. Then you're going to kind of make a little bit of a lead in, a soft lead in, to kind of make them smile, make them chuckle a little bit, something along those lines to kind of make them feel like you're having just a conversation amongst friends. And then you're going to give them the answer. So what you've done now is you've created a strong relationship of relation. They can relate to you. But then you also answered their question. Go figure. Who the hell knew that this was going to be the most scientific thing ever? Believe it or not, nobody wants to sit there and listen to a symposium whenever they can just get a 1 or 2 or sentence long answer. And then maybe a simple, one back and forth as to why. Leave the symposiums for whenever you're actually starting business together. Because nobody really wants to know they don't necessarily want to look behind the curtain per se just yet. They just want to know answer to their question and if you can answer it. So I know that sounds really simple, but believe it or not, the simpler that you can actually make something to someone, the more that they're going to trust you and the more they're going to be actually likely to do business with you. Case in point. Because nobody wants to feel like they don't understand. Nobody wants to feel inadequate. Nobody wants to feel stupid. Nobody wants to feel like, oh my gosh, you don't know the answer to that question. Gosh, I don't want to do business with you because you're so uneducated. So whenever we break it down in terms of simple chapter form, believe it or not, the average, I think a study came out that the average reading level in America is a 5th grader level or something like that. When you look at it that way, it obviously makes you think, okay, I need to make sure that when I'm conveying this message, it is relatable. We can it's in a conversational tone. Somebody can actually say, okay, I get what you're saying. Tell me more. Obviously, if you're giving them a symposium or you're giving them a long mathematical answer to their question, they're not going to be able to say, okay, tell me more. Because they're already going to be so lost that they just, I'm going to X out of here and I'm just going to go find somebody else who can answer this for me quicker and without making me feel stupid. I know that sounds insane, but that is the beginning of your content marketing strategy. A one simple answer to one simple question. Nobody is going to type in a paragraph query to Google search bar and expect a long, drawn out, huge, long blog post or this, that, or the other thing when they were only looking for, in this case, the actual query that we were kind of joking around with at the beginning here was healthy brownie recipes. They just want the simple healthy brownie recipe because they want to go get to baking it. They want to consume the delicious healthy brownie faster. They want to get to point B faster. So you need to start thinking about writing your content marketing strategy and really writing your content based on delivering results faster, delivering an answer faster. Now, the reason why I said pause this and write down the 10 top questions that somebody asks you, or just multiple clients throughout your years of experience asks you all the time. What are those top 5, top 10? The reason being is because that right there is your content marketing strategy. The answers to the simple answers to those questions are your content marketing strategy. Because those are the things that people want to know. Those are the things that people are looking for answers for. Those are the one problems, and you're going to provide the one solution to each of those things. Because here's the thing: if those are the most common questions that you get, those are the most common questions that people are typing into the Google search bar, Bing search bar, wherever they're searching. Those are the most common things that people are typing in order to get that one solution. And so you need to make sure that your content, your answer, in other words, gets the point across and gets their problem solved, their question answered the fastest, but with the most relevance, the most relatableness, and it actually just answers their question. All people want is they just want to get to point B faster. So help them get there faster. That's why the average blog post is about 300 to 500 words that's most effective. It doesn't need to be a novel. If you want to write a novel, go write a book. And I can help you do that too, but go write a book. So many people make this stuff so unbelievably complicated, but if you really want to help somebody, help them understand it. That is the one thing in terms of your content marketing strategy that I can say that 99.9% of your competitors are not doing, but is the absolute golden ticket to your success online. You want to help somebody, help them understand it. Now, so from here, what do we do? Okay, we have our top most common questions that we get asked, AKA the ones that are going to be most commonly typed into Google or whatever search bar. Okay, so we have those. Now we have the one, hit them right between the eyes, layman's terms answer. That's one sentence. Okay, so that means that we have 10 questions or 10 most common questions, 10 most common answers. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to pause this, or if you want to do it later after you've listened to this, but either way, now I want you to go actually not write down the answer. I want you to go and I want you to make a 3-minute video. It doesn't have to be any production quality. Whip out your smartphone. Just or whatever recording device. I would recommend that it's your smartphone because this is literally the best recording studio you could possibly have. And it sits in your pocket and not enough people know how to use it. Just turn on the video and I want you to record a 1 to 3 minute answer to that most common question based off of what you wrote down. And believe it or not, you are going to stumble through it. You are going to trip up. You're probably going to start once or twice, but what I want you to focus on is make it simple. What was that thing that our parents used to say back in the day? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Obviously, I'm not calling you stupid, but keep it simple. So think about, you wrote down a simple answer, record a simple answer. Talk to your phone when you're recording this 1 to 3 minute video as if you were talking to that person and answering their question simply. Now that you have 10 of the most common questions, 10 of the most common answers, now you're going to have 10 of the most common answers, but on video. Now, from here, and I know that this is playing out really quickly. I know that this is like, oh my gosh, this is so simple. Why didn't I think of that? The reason being is because people tend to think that people will only do business with them if they make it sound complicated. Because they think, oh my gosh, if I make this sound so simple, they're not going to pay me the big bucks. Believe it or not, that is not the case. When people are looking for a solution, they are looking for a solution because they don't have time to do it themselves. So of course, they're still going to have you do it. But the thing is that if you put up the intellectual barrier, the I'm too smart for you barrier, You give them a symposium when they were looking for a sentence, they're not even going to engage with you. They're just going to X out of your answer and they're just going to go to the next one. That is exactly why whenever you ask Google a question, what it does is it actually a lot of the time will spit back a very simple excerpt at the top of the search, the search rank page, the SERP page. And it's going to just literally have a blurb there that says yes or no and a brief answer as to why. The yes or no. And then maybe where they can go to have more answer in detail. But the thing is that excerpt came from either your response or your competitors. And you're probably asking, well, how do I get in there? How is it my excerpt? You make it so that your answer, your excerpt, your blog post, your video, your content is the most consumable answer to the consumer's or the user's question. It's that simple. You make it easy for them to digest. You actually help them without having to do X plus 62Y equals this. So I know that this sounds simple, but the more simple you make it, the more somebody can actually consume your data faster. And believe it or not, this actually helps shorten the sales cycle. Why? Because the more people that you can answer that same question faster, the quicker your pipeline is going to fill up. Your CRM, what have you. And the reason being is because you're able to solve problems faster. Nobody needs to sit there and read that huge long answer. If people can consume that answer quicker, they're going to trust you faster. So that means that your volume is going to increase. That means your pipeline is going to increase. And the thing is that what you don't realize is now your pipeline is heating up. And your pipeline to that end is heating up with your ideal prospects, people that are actually, let's just call it fun to do business with. People that you actually want to talk to. And why? Because you answered their question. That's all you did. You answered their question. So already you're starting off the relationship a whole hell of a lot better than 99.9% of your competitors and also 99.9% of businesses the world over. So obviously now that we have these videos, okay, so we have the 10 most common asked questions. We have the 10 most common answers based on your expertise. And now we have videos to back that up. What you're going to go do is you're going to get those videos transcribed. And you could get that at rev.com. And no, this podcast is not sponsored by them. It just happens to be the one that I use. It's most cost effective. It's the fastest one. rev.com. Rev.com. And you'll just literally take that video, you'll drag and drop it. You'll say, I want to get captions for this, or I want to get a transcription for this. I would recommend both because then you could use that video in your advertising, and we'll talk about that later. But you'll just get a transcription of it. And now guess what you have? Of course, you'll have to clean it up just a little bit. You might have to take out the F-bomb that you threw in there because you screwed up. We all do. But now you actually have a written blog post. So now you have two assets, two pieces of content marketing assets. You have a blog post that is literally based off of a very simple answer to a very simple question. And then you also have a video to go along with it. So you have a blog post and you have a video. Okay, and those are the two common consumed ways of delivering content. Video is first, hands down video is first, which is why I'm telling you to record the answers in video form. And the other is written in a shorter excerpt, 300 to 500 words. And so now you have a blog post that you'll be able to put onto your website. Don't make this complicated. It doesn't have to be crazy fancy. It actually needs to, like, if you use Yoast, YOAST SEO plugin for your website, if you literally just turn that on whenever you're going to make a new blog post on your page, and whoever your content marketing expert is within your business, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you just have that plugin on your website while you're copy and pasting that content, that written transcription content into your new blog post, you're literally Yoast is going to tell you exactly what the rest of that content needs, whether it's certain H2 or H1 or H3 headers, or whether this one sentence needs to sound a little bit better in terms of like, basically it needs to read better. There's a readability score, how people are going to actually be able, how well people are going to be able to read this. And by the way, that plugin is based off of the reading levels, how people most accurately, from a conversion standpoint, consume content. It's going to tell you this sentence needs to be a little bit easier on the eyes to read, to consume. So now, so you can actually start to see how your content marketing strategy is actually a lot easier than you think. It doesn't need to be some crazy journey, some wild goose chase that this person needs to be sent on. So many companies put up this massive wall between them and their ideal customers because they make it too complicated. They think they know what the end user is looking for, and they think that it needs to be more complicated than it is. Believe me, the reason why people choose to do business with you is not because they can't do the thing that they're looking for. They're looking for it and searching for it because they need somebody else to do it for them, because they don't have the time. Believe it or not, the majority of businesses in the world today are not marketers. They're not marketing agencies. They're not marketing professionals. They're business owners in their own right. They are experts at something else, which is why they went to Google looking for an answer to their question. Because let's just say, for example, that they did take a shot at it themselves. Believe me, they're going to wind up back looking again for somebody to do it for them. Which is why we need to have a content marketing strategy that also offers lead generation avenues, just like we talked about a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. If you haven't watched that one yet, pause this, go listen to that one, come back to this one, to this spot. When you make a blog post or you answer somebody's question, make sure that in that blog post that you have a call to action. Whether it's a free ebook, and I know you're thinking, well, Alex, I just gave him the answer for free here on this blog post. Why would I give him another free thing? The reason being is because that blog post did not take a lead capture form, something that somebody fills out their first name, their email address, and their phone number. That blog post, basically from the search bar of Google to hitting on that blog post and consuming that information, there was no lead capture arm component to consuming that content. So we need to get them further down our rabbit hole with that form. So that call to action, that further answer, essentially a little bit farther down the funnel, that is for free, whether it's a webinar, whether it's basically elaborating more on that thing, that top 10 question, plural. Whatever that thing is, you're going to be having another like deeper dive piece to answer that problem. Because somebody's going to say, okay, well, this was only 300 to 500 words. I need more. That's exactly what you wanted them to say. And then guess what? There's going to be a call to action right there for them to learn more. So essentially, you are continuing to answer their question right at the moment that they need to consume it. They are in the moment. So give them the answer in the moment. So let's say that it was just an ebook that they now opted in for from that blog post that told them more about the question that they had. Well, now they're inside your CRM. So you can see your pipeline starting to fill up with these not only qualified folks, but they are now educated. So you've attracted them with the answer to their question. You've made them trust you. You're having a conversation digitally. They're liking you. They're trusting you because you're making them feel good. They can understand what you're saying in terms of answering their question. And now you're giving them more information for free. So now they really trust you. But now your pipeline is also filling up with people who you've not only attracted, you're not only qualifying because now they've raised their hand again to say, okay, I really want to learn more. I'm going to exchange my information. But now they're educated. They're more educated now to actually have a conversation with you. Wouldn't it be really nice if you walked into your doctor's office educated so that whenever you only got that measly 15 minutes with your doctor, you actually had a productive conversation instead of walking out of that door feeling less comfortable than you did walking in? Wouldn't that be really nice? That's exactly what you're doing. You're making them feel better about their problem because you're simply answering their question. You're solving their problem. And to boot, they're like, oh my gosh, he did all this and he didn't even ask me, or she didn't even ask me for my credit card yet. And you're thinking, a lot of you are probably thinking, I've given so much away, Alex. This is my secret sauce. Well, guess what? They don't know that. But here's the thing. Let's remember, they did not think that they were going to get the full answer to their question right from one blog post or right from one ebook. What you've done is you've given them a taste, and now they want more. So now whenever you start talking dollars and cents, you're the authority, you're the expert, they trust you. You're going to be able to charge a premium price for your continued expertise. You've already given them so much for free. You've already given them so much results in advance. You've already given them so much value. And by the way, they're not going to complain about the price. And if they are, which is going to be a very small percentage, they're still not your ideal customer. But you don't have to worry because the rest of your pipeline is filled up with folks who are. And by the way, this is running 24/7, 365. While you're eating, sleeping, drinking, breathing, on vacation, playing soccer with your son or daughter, this is continuing to work in the background. You've multiplied yourself. And you're starting to do business with people who you actually want to do business with. And that is what we call the golden ticket. That is how you start to also feel fulfilled. That is how you start to actually continue your purpose, your mission, your journey, why you actually got in business with this particular product service in the first place. You don't have to wake up so grumpy all the time because you're like, oh, I got a call with so-and-so, and they're such a pain in the ass. No, you're like, oh my gosh, I get to talk to this person today, and we're going to, go have a beer later, or we're going to, talk, and we're going to have fun, and we're going to talk about each other's kids doing this, that, and the other thing. You're going to enjoy the conversation. Yeah, you'll talk about a little bit of business, but they trust you. When people that you are about to get on a phone call with, and you already have like this dark cloud above your head, it's because they don't understand. And believe it or not, they have those questions because you didn't answer them simply enough in the beginning of the relationship. If you would have answered them in a more simple fashion, they would have less of them, or they would be more educated about them to where they wouldn't have to be such a long, drawn out process. Or they just simply really wouldn't ask those questions altogether because they trust you. Now, of course, every single instance is going to be different, but I can promise you that this is the content marketing strategy to make your pipeline red hot. Or two, if it's leads, make your pipeline red hot. Or if it's e-commerce, to start to actually increase your sales, increase your average order value, increase your ROAS. For those of you who don't know, that's return on ad spend, basically a digital way of saying ROI. But it's not complicated. So many companies make it too complicated. People don't want to sit there and have to read a novel for a quick answer. So this is your content marketing strategy. And that's why I said, okay, do it for the top 5 questions that you're asked. Do it for the top 10 questions that you're asked. So now you've got the blog post that is optimized because I told you about Yoast plugin for your website. It's very simple. You just download it. It's free, or they have a free level. You link it to your website. And then whenever you copy and paste your transcription from your video from rev.com, REV as in Victor.com. No, this is not sponsored by them. Once you do that, you're going to get the transcription. You're going to copy and paste it into your blog post. And then Yoast plugin, SEO plugin is going to tell you, okay, do this, 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 and this. You do those things. It's going to show you and tell you exactly what they need to be and how to do them. You do those things. You literally hit publish. And so now, and you can even put that video inside that blog post if you want for a little bit more search engine optimization, or commonly known as SEO. You can see how this stuff also starts to tie together to provide one piece of content with a lot more firepower to make your short excerpt, your short answer to their short question show up first. That's organic content marketing. That's having your content marketing strategy. And all it is just simple answers to simple, common questions from your about your product or service. That's all it is. And of course, from that one little answer video, there's also 11 other pieces of content that you can make out of that. But of course, we can save that for another time. But this is your content marketing strategy. This is how you're going to get known and found and discovered and actually provide value and actually fill up your pipeline with educated people who want to do business with you, people that you would like doing business with. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Alex, there was only 5 or 10 questions. Well, guess what? More and more people are going to continue to have the exact same questions that they have answers to, which is why you get them all the time. Rinse and repeat, people. Rinse and repeat. And by the way, the people that you start doing business with, those continued questions that they have, do the exact same process for those questions. And now your customers are starting to create content for you. So now your audience is directly telling you what they need to do business with you. It does not get any more dynamite than that. It does not get any more golden than that. That is everything served to you on a silver platter now. Guys, thank you so much for for being here today. I hope that I'm providing you with some fantastic value. I want to make sure that I am helping as many businesses as humanly possible. I don't care what vertical in. I don't care what niche you're in. This system works. These pillars, these weekly podcasts, this information that I'm giving you is not just one size fits all. It is rinse and repeat for any product or service for any vertical. Whether you're in real estate, whether you sell shoes, it does not matter. Whether you sell multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment, this system works. These systems work. If you guys have any questions, if you want to hear, like if you have a specific question based off of a past podcast, or you're just like, Alex, I love what you're talking about. I want to know this, or I hate what you're talking about. I wish you would tell me this. Do both. Send me a message. support@convertsource.com. support@convertsource.com. Send me all of those questions, comments, concerns, everything you have, and we'll make content on it to help you understand how to attract, qualify, and convert your ideal leads and sales on autopilot. Guys, thank you so much for watching today, for listening today, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope the very best for you. I'm going to continue doing these podcasts every single week on Tuesdays so that you guys can further your mission. And so I can further my mission even. This is not unselfish. So I can further my mission of helping more businesses, helping more people achieve their purpose, enrich their lives for themselves, their families, the people of their business, basically those people that consume their products or services. I want to enrich everybody's life. I want to help everybody with my knowledge so that you can help other people as well. So again, thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you're watching this, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whether it's on our website. Do me a favor, please share this with anybody that you think could possibly benefit from it, whether they're just starting up and don't have a ton of capital to pay agencies to do all this. The stuff I'm telling you they can do right now in a single weekend, and they can go ahead and do it for themselves. Or if you need somebody to help you do all this for you, we can do that as well. But just do me a favor, share this to somebody who you think might or could use it. If you need some help with something, feel free to reach out to us. Go to convertsource.com. Reach out to us. Say, hey, send us a message. Let's have a conversation. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to end in a big contract, or it's going to end with you like shaking whenever you're pulling out your wallet. We might just have a conversation. But either way, whatever it ends up being, I want to help you. So guys, whether you go to convertsource.com or you submit your questions for new ideas for the podcast, or your comments, concerns, or your praise, whatever, support at convertsource.com. Send us a message. Thank you so much for watching and listening. God bless. I hope you guys be great. And if I can do anything to help you and your business to launch into the next universe, please just let me know. Support at convertsource.com. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.
When you want your leads and sales on autopilot and to accelerate your business, you come to the source. The Convert Source Podcast with Alex Kubasek. Let's go.